I'm Carolyn Arbour. It's cold outside, your house may be losing heat, and you may be losing money. We'll tell you how to stay warm and save cash coming up at 6. Pelado is running in a riding the PQ lost by less than 900 votes in 2012 to a candidate who is not in the race this time around, so his chances of winning are considered good. With just a little over a day left until polls open, the parties will pull out all the stops tomorrow. The first two determined accurately that my chain is 10 carat, and their prices were similar. One told me though that the pendant isn't gold, the other that it's 10 carat gold plated. The last one thought the chain and the pendant were 14 carat. The moral of the story, go to more than one buyer.
Une jeune femme qui a de la parenté à Toronto a été la première à comparaître. Elle est entrée dans la salle d'audience, les mains menottées, et a expliqué avoir fait la traversée avec son père, sa mère et son frère.
Caroline Arbour, qui est à Williams Lake. Alors, Caroline, bon, quel est l'état de la situation au moment où l'on se parle?
Écoutez, où nous nous trouvons, c'est la région la plus touchée, les Caribous, ce qu'on appelle. Et ici, 46 000 hectares de forêt brûlent. On compte une douzaine d'incendies majeurs. 2200 personnes ont été évacuées.
Let's go to Quebec now, where one of the most powerful businessmen in Canada leapt into the political ring today because he says he doesn't want to be part of Canada. Outspoken Quebec media mogul Pierre-Carl Pelado is now running for the Parti Québécois in the Quebec election. Will he help or hurt the political fortunes of Pauline Marois? The CBC's Carolyn Arbour reports.
Pauline Marois got off her campaign bus today, clutching the arm of her superstar candidate with the smile of someone who just scored big. And she has, some say, with Pierre-Carl Pelado, a household name in the province.
He's a sovereignist. He's a person which has a great experience in business. And I convinced him to work with me, with my team.
Until last year, Pelado ran the media empire Québécois. In May, the PQ government appointed him chairman of Hydro-Québec. Since then, he's been denying having political aspirations. But he says Marois won him over.
She's been working on me.
He certainly brings to the sovereignty movement a lot of credibility.
Political scientist Bruce Hicks says that Pelado also brings something else to the PQ.
What he does is he shores up the one area that they're weak in. They're vulnerable on the economy.
Radio-Canada host Michel Cauger used to work for one of Pelado's papers.
He's a very polarizing figure. A lot of people like Pierre-Carl Pelado, a lot of people don't like Pierre-Carl Pelado.
Pelado is known as a shrewd businessman, tough on labor. Journal de Montréal employees were locked out for 2 years under his watch. Françoise David speaks for opposition party Québec solidaire.
L'un des patrons les plus intransigeants du Québec.
She calls Pelado one of the most uncompromising anti-union bosses in Quebec.
I think he's making a big mistake.
Coalition Avenir Québec's leader says he thinks Pelado will have a hard time not being in the driver's seat.
He won't be the guy who will decide. The one who will decide will be still Mrs. Marois.
Pelado is running in a riding the PQ lost by less than 900 votes in 2012 to a candidate who is not in the race this time around, so his chances of winning are considered good. But some analysts say Pelado didn't jump into politics to play a supporting role for very long, that he may have higher aspirations, perhaps taking over the top job. Carolyn Arbour, CBC News, Montreal.
One last note on this story. Pierre-Carl Pelado has resigned from the board of Quebecor, and if he wins, he says, he'll place all of his shares into a blind trust.
This is not how a transatlantic rowing race from the Canary Islands to Antigua should end aboard a Belgian cargo ship in icy Quebec waters. And yet British students Hannah Lawton and Lauren Morton were laughing it off today as they were about to set foot on land for the first time in 3 months in Bécancour.
Well, yeah, 10 days ago we were in like 30 degrees, 35 degrees, and then we're like minus 10 or whatever it was last night. So, yeah, it's crazy.
It's all been a bit of a weird adventure. The row seems so distant now, and it feels like we've been on this ship for a long time.
A sense of humor is a must when you set off on what is billed as the world's most grueling rowing challenge. 4,828 kilometers on the open ocean with just 4 oars and no outside help.
And we had problem after problem with our boat. We had a fire on board, one of our batteries blew up. Our rudder came off, which was the final straw, which meant we had to pack in.
They spent 44 days drifting before being plucked from the sea by the crew of the Lowlands Opal.
Oh, we were treated like royalty, really. Whatever we wanted to eat, literally was brought to us all the time. We sat and watched movies, which compared to what we were like on our rowing boat, we had no entertainment and no luxuries, no food. So yeah, it was amazing, really good. And the captain was very nice.
Nice because he's an admirer.
And having these two beautiful ladies who set up on an unbelievable task. If you ask me, it's crazy because I wouldn't even cross the river on a canoe. This is beautiful, excellent.
There was a good reason for that craziness. The girls rowed to honor a friend who died of cervical cancer. They're now out of their flip-flops and off to Montreal, where they'll spend a few days before flying home. Carolyn Arbour, CBC News, Montreal.